product development, product delivery and management, client relationship and engagement, team building, operations, experience with building an outsourced product development P&L entity. He is an active participant in the Hyderabad ecosystem, encouraging young entrepreneurial teams. As part of his role in several organizations, including TIE, HMA Alumni Associations, and NGOs, he initiates and helps in sustaining and growing startups through active mentoring. Before I hand over the floor to Ravi, here are a few reminders. You will all be on mute. You may ask a question by typing in the panel provided, or if you wish to speak to the speaker directly, then you may ask on the raise hand button. You will be provided audio access when the Q&A session begins towards the end of the session. Kindly maintain a list of attendees of students who are the attending the webinar, and please ensure to share the feedback of the session once the webinar is over. Over to you, Ravi.
Thanks, Maksud. Good afternoon, all of you. Like Maksud mentioned, I've been part of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Hyderabad and some other cities in the country. And when our entrepreneurship journey started, we really did not have organizations such as the NEN and several other organizations which are helping entrepreneurs find their way through this tough journey of being and becoming an entrepreneur. Having said that, the topic I was asked to speak about the need for a mentor. So I took the liberty of taking that topic and going into several points related to the entrepreneurship journey and the mentor-mentee relationship. If anybody has any doubts, please go ahead and write the question on the panel given to them, and I would be answering those questions at the end of the presentation, or if we do not have enough time, we can continue the conversation over email later on. First, I thought there are several words which keep coming up when we talk about mentoring. So I thought let me go through that first. My take on this is very different from what normally we would find in terms of trying to differentiate each of these with a certain thing that person does or does not do. So we have teacher, guide, coach, guru, advisor, confidant, mentor, and maybe I'm sure several other words. See, the point in all of these roles is that that person is guiding the person who is doing the activity. This person is not doing the activity, is guiding based on experience, based on previous knowledge gathered, or just intuition because of the circumstances that person is into and can advise. Now, I wouldn't really care what you call a mentor. The reason I am saying that is that the mentor doesn't really care about the designation at all. The mentor is there because there is a passion in the mentor to help the individual that he or she has seen and wants to get personal satisfaction out of the growth of this person. So the designation doesn't really matter. Mentor is a good word and it's a responsibility. So let's go with that word and move forward. The mentor-mentee relationship. Obviously this has been there in history always. Most of the great people have had their gurus, mentors, guiding them through their life, through difficult circumstances, through circumstances where they know they have to take a decision to grow. So what happens in a mentor-mentee relationship is that there is an exchange of ideas. I say exchange deliberately because, as I mentioned here, curiosity meets experience. So if we take the entrepreneurial world, we have, as entrepreneurs, we have so many tasks to learn and do. So we are curious about how things work. How can I do it better? How can I do it differently? And that needs experience. Otherwise, it will be like creating the same process that somebody has already beaten it to familiarity, and then we will be doing the same thing. So if an experienced person is willing to share, and that saves your time, I think that exchange of ideas is part of a mentor-mentee relationship. And one of the most important thing which happens when we are discussing ideas is challenging of assumptions. And the assumptions again are on both sides, where the mentee, the entrepreneur, is obviously so sold on his or her idea that it is very difficult for them to listen to anybody who says this may not work. So the mentor is a person who has this knack of challenging that assumption in such a way that the mentee listens to it, understands that, yeah, maybe there is something I still need to understand before I say this works. So exchange of ideas is one key thing which happens in a mentor-mentee relationship. And then what happens is that there is a sense of self-worth. Why? Why does a person, an entrepreneur, talk to a mentor? When a mentor says that I like this idea, the mentee, the entrepreneur, has a validation of the idea. Somebody who has been in this industry or somebody senior, somebody who knows this game to an extent, is validating my idea saying, yes, there is value in what you're talking about. I will guide you through this. That's a validation of idea. And on the other hand, the self-worth of the mentor himself or herself is that my experience is going to be used for something better, something new, something which will stay into the future. So there is a sense of self-worth added on both sides. And this, the relationship is obviously an opportunity to develop new skills on both sides. And one of the most important things is a chance to reflect, a chance to think about themselves, their own skills, their own ideas, their own experience, and make it useful for the other person. And when I say it's a relationship, it's an equal relationship. So there is knowledge flowing to and fro. And then there is this thing about, whenever in my own experience, a lot of young entrepreneurs come over and they say, we want advice on a certain thing that we are trying out. So they look at a mentor as if, he is a superior. The beauty about entrepreneurship the beauty is that it is not a traditional organization. In a traditional organization, you have your boss. The boss has his or her boss, and normally knowledge flows top down. And the knowledge which flows from down upward is not really acknowledged. Okay, so the beauty of the entrepreneurship ecosystem is that the knowledge flows in all directions. So the mentor-mentee relationship, there is a downward, there is an upward, and even there is a peer relationship, which means that younger people can be mentors to older people who are trying out new ideas, and the other way around, of course, which is common. And then there is a peer mentoring which can happen, which has nothing to do with age or number of years of experience. It could be that that person has a knowledge about a niche area which I do not know, and yes, I can become the mentee, and that person can become the mentor. So as a mindset, when you are talking to a mentor, it is not required to have a superior subordinate mindset. We can go with a equal mindset where there is a sharing of knowledge. And what can a mentee expect? What can the entrepreneur expect? Of course, at a minimum level, we know that mentors normally are the persons who have achieved something in life for their own. They do have spare time and the intention to spend with entrepreneurs, share their experience and knowledge. And those people normally are connected to several important people, several useful people for the entrepreneur. So there are networking connections which will happen, and which is good. And then new ideas, of course, for growth. And the entrepreneur will also get confidence and encouragement, like we discussed, from the validation of the idea. And a pat on the back saying, this is an awesome thing that you have thought about. Let's see what we can do about it. And then remember that while confidence and encouragement does come in, there is some hard-hitting feedback also which comes from mentors. Mentors are not really always, the pat on the back, go, you're doing a great job, continue, continue kind of a guy. Very often you'll get very hard-hitting feedback, and for an entrepreneur it is tough to take. Theoretically, everybody says I'm open-minded, but to be really open-minded, it takes um, a lot of effort to be able to listen and not justify yourself, but actually listen and um, take the feedback and work on it. But when I'm saying listen, it's not just the mentor who has to listen. Actually, not just the mentee, the entrepreneur who has to listen, but the mentor also is actually sitting and listening to you. Well, some of the best mentors are those people who sit and listen you out fully, because when they are listening to you, they are actually um, basically understanding the way you work. So that is important before any relationship actually takes a positive turn. And of course you'll get actionable advice, many times unconventional, many times non-theoretical advice. um, and one of the important things that the mentee can expect is that the mentor will accept you for what you are. So with your strengths, with your weaknesses, which you yourself may or may not be aware of. And I'm not saying that the mentor is God or something who knows you exactly what you are. They could also make mistakes in terms of judging your strengths or weaknesses, but listening you out and understanding your weaknesses and strengths and accepting you as you are is one of the things mentors normally do, and it will be fortunate for you if you get somebody who does that. And also remember, there are a lot of no's, and it's also possible, like I said, mentors are not some astronomical figures. They also don't know, and a lot of times they come back with an answer which is I don't know, and that is when you have to go and find the answer somewhere else. So these are the some of the things that the mentee can expect. Now, how do I find or spot a mentor? The first thing which happens is that you should need the mentor. So which means that, see, what are startups? Startups are handling change in whatever industry you're working on. Startup, according to me, is different from a general entrepreneurial venture, in the sense that there is change which is happening continuously in the system. So either I bring about change, then I'm a startup, or there is a change happening and I take advantage of the change, in the sense that I make a business out of either resisting the change or enhancing the change or enabling the change. So these are the four things which I can do as a startup. So the definition of startup according to me is doing these four things. It's all related to change. Now when you are doing any of these activities, either you are initiating change, or you are resisting a change, or you are enabling the change, or you are um, enhancing the change and playing something about the future of the world after the change happens, any of these activities leads to a lot of stress. Stress comes from lack of knowledge as to what to do in a certain situation. So either you can sit and learn every damn science which is there on in your industry and do it all yourself, or you can look for somebody who can help you go through that part of the journey, and that is where mentors come in. Now I'm not talking about technical knowledge or business knowledge only. They could also be mentors, but not those are not the mentors I'm talking about. The mentors I'm talking about are who personally take you through the journey. So once that is done, so how do you find these mentors? You basically have to go to industry meets or meetups, small networking conferences, where you know that these people are going to hang around. They are interested in these places. So you go hang around there. It could be online also. It could be some discussions. You present yourself to them in those circumstances, and as your interaction grows, you will know if somebody could be of help to you. Now, when you see a mentor, how do you know whether they could be a good mentor for you or not? So one thing, I came up with this, simple rules for myself, where we say the person first should be comfortable in themselves. So which means that that person has gone through some cycles which I am probably going to go through, and they are now comfortable with themselves. Whether it could be monetary, it could be professional achievement, it could be spiritual, philosophical, whatever you may say. But you know that you are meeting a person who is comfortable in themselves, and then they should have confidence in you and your idea. That is very, very important. You cannot be pursuing a person who says that who doesn't say it, maybe if they're polite, but if they do not see you as somebody who's going to grow fast and make something out of your idea, or they do not have confidence in the idea, or they are not sold on the idea, maybe it's not a great idea to pursue them to become your mentor. So it is very important for them to be confident about your ability and your ideas value. The third one is that you should look for consistency. So when in the sense that it's a question of availability also. Mentors are normally busy. Mentors are actually have their own lives, right? They have their businesses to run, or they have their jobs to do. So consistency is important, which means that if they have committed to you something, meeting a certain thing or connecting you to somebody or anything, are they being consistent about their actions? If they are not able to, maybe they are great, but maybe they are not in a position right then to be able to give you the time. So consistency, according to me, is a very, very important aspect in spotting and asking somebody to become your mentor. And then companionship. Of course, this you will know only when you go through it. So entrepreneur's life is full of ups and downs. So if somebody is celebrating along with you, very few people are there to understand. I mean, they might be around, but they won't know what to do. To sit through the uncomfortable times and make you talk and actually critically analyze what went wrong and what should change within us to be able to change this and turn this around. That needs a lot of mental strength and a lot of trust in you. So if you can find somebody who can do that, then that is a good way of spotting a mentor. But then mentors are human beings, and they have their own lives. So don't be too fast to judge a mentor. It takes time. Normally, I feel it is the mentor who spots you and not the entrepreneur who spots the mentor. The entrepreneur is hanging around in the space where all the people are there, and it is the mentor who says, looks like this guy or this girl is going to make it, and I think I can add value to their journey with no expectation at all. So they get excited about pushing this person forward. So normally it's the mentor who spots the mentee, and that's one of the best things to happen. Just that the entrepreneur should be around somewhere presenting themselves in those circles. Now the simple thing comes up, which means that there are various stages of our entrepreneurial life, which I can again go in detail in the next slide. But at a very high level, there is a vision that I have as an entrepreneur. I'm going to change the world as far as this industry is concerned. And then once I do that, I have a strategy to put in place, and then I have to do all my tactics to get it done. Now, at each level, very rarely would you find a person who can help you think through all the three levels. So which means obviously that most probably you're going to have multiple mentors. So in the sense that, for example, if you are in the tech industry, you are looking at vision, you would want to discuss with somebody who can think in a very, very lateral way or in a very disrupting way and challenge you with something which nobody can think about normally. So for example, I was having a discussion with an entrepreneur who is into the clothing industry. and they were talking about automating some parts of the clothing process that they have. Now the challenge, they were doing it pretty beautifully, but then somebody comes in who can challenge them and say, do not limit yourself to measuring only the person's whatever normally a tailor measures. Don't go with only that. Measure the entire person, including the face, the eyes, take the color of the eyes, the color of the hair and everything, and collect the data with permission, of course. And you do not know what it might be useful for tomorrow, because you might add AI to do a certain different thing, which I can guide you later on. So that was an eye-opener for them. So a person who does that kind of guidance to change a small thing, to collect more data while you're doing a small part of the business, but be able to see the future and say this is where your business is going to go, and be prepared for that. That kind of a guidance, that person may not be able to give the entrepreneur specifics on how to exactly do the tailoring process or tweak it to improve the efficiency of the process or reduce cost. So for that, you might have to discuss with some other people. So all in all, you might need multiple mentors depending on the level at which they think. And of course, it's your discretion as to whom to use for what. So you're the sponge to be able to absorb knowledge according to your requirement. So if you look at the startup journey, it starts with identifying the pain or the opportunity in the market. That's where the vision comes in. How do I want to solve this pain, or how do I want to take advantage of this opportunity? How am I going to change the world? There are multiple levels at which you can think. So you need somebody to brainstorm there. And then the idea comes validation. How. So let's quickly go through this thing. So there is a pain or opportunity. You come up with an idea. You find a customer. You find many customers. Then you either fail or you succeed and start building a company. So that's like a pilot which is done. And then in each of these there are multiple stages. You build a company, you sustain, grow the company, then you scale the company to a very high level, and then what do? You exit or continue. So in that journey, in each of these, there is a different kind of mindset required. So yes, the mentor that you are looking at may be senior enough to be able to give you inputs on multiple of these levels, but most likely you would have to have several people that you can go back to and discuss. Now, some of the points which are important I would like to highlight here is that failure. That is one of the most important parts in an entrepreneur's journey. A failure happens, and then normally entrepreneurs get into that, a small low curve of depression, and then some kind of a cover up as to saying that the idea was great, but it was not. It was way ahead of its time, or the competition started beating me with price cuts, or the customer did not understand my product, or several other reasons. So excuses, reasons, all that might come up, and then what that does is the learning stops, and there is a fear to start something else. So that is where a mentor can really help. So analyzing a failure very systematically and very objectively, learning from that, and then deciding to either get back or get out. By which I mean that if you're not entrepreneurial material, get out. Get out of the entrepreneurial journey and do something else. Understand where, what is it that is making you think that you're an entrepreneur. See what is lacking. See if you can try that out, and how you react to that action, and then maybe get back. Or if you're saying, if you correctly analyze and say, okay, this was a problem, now I know what to do, I'll get back to the same idea and bring it back, or I'll get back with another idea and start something else. So that analysis is very difficult to do alone by yourself. So their mentors really help. And of course, building a company strategy and sustaining. See, whenever an idea grows and it comes to a certain level, Um, what happens is, companies are normally started by 2, 3 people. The partnerships part takes a lot of stress. So that's where mentors can really help in terms of ironing out the differences between partners, getting them to still work together as a team as their environment is changing, the demands on them are changing. And we should remember that whoever all the biggies that you see now have been beginner entrepreneurs 10 years back, and they have gone through all those cycles with their friends or partners, and only mentors probably could iron out the differences, get them to work together, and ensure that the company is not affected negatively because of the relationship issues. So that's where this comes in, where mentors do not generally look at only operations or um, strategies or vision or product, but actually look at people and their mindsets. And of course, scale, growth mindset, somebody who has seen the global market, how to change the world in that industry, can advise on that. Exit, most important for an entrepreneur after reaching a certain level. Why? Why is a good question to ask once in a while throughout the journey. And what next? The entrepreneur normally doesn't, he's put in so much into one venture, say for 6 years, 10 years, that he doesn't really know what to do after that. It's like retirement, and we don't know what to do. There are ideas and all that, and that's where mentors can really help them think through that. And what is a mentor's interest? Now here I would like to understand from the audience, if possible. These are some of the questions everybody comes up with. What is the mentor's interest? Is he or she interested in the why or the how? In the sense that, is the mentor interested in why this entrepreneur is doing this business, trying to grow the idea, or in the how? Is he interested in the purpose of the startup, or is he interested in only how to grow the startup and get it to a profitable business entity? I am not judging any of this. I am not giving the answers here. It depends on the mentor. But you should think about this, and you should choose a mentor which matches with your answer. Is the mentor interested in you or your company? Is he interested in your family's well-being or your work getting done? Is he or she interested in your customers' well-being or your profits? And do his or her values match with yours? There is a balance required. There is no clear-cut black and white yes or no answers. But it is very important to think about these 5 points um, and choose a mentor according to your answers matching to the mentor's answers. Some of the questions might look funny for people who are unmarried and who still have a lot of time to put their heart and soul into their entrepreneurship venture. But then things will change and these questions will come up. So it is important to think about how the mentor thinks about these. So how does this happen? How does the interaction happen? So there could be scheduled meetings. So you could say that I need a meeting with you every quarter, half a day, or every month, a couple of hours, or it depends on the role that the person is playing, how active a role the person is playing, and also what is the situation, what is the project, or what is the situation that is going on right now, and if it requires more time. So it can be a scheduled thing or it can be an unscheduled thing. It depends on how you want to choose it. But what is important is to decide on that. It is important to mention if it is scheduled that this is the schedule and this is what we need to follow. Or it has to be mentioned that it is going to be unscheduled, but then it depends on the onus is on the entrepreneur's side, where he or she has to pursue and get the time required to be able to gain from the mentoring relationship. Then, of course, there could be the other thing you have to discuss and decide on, is it going to be agenda based or is it going to be free discussion? A free discussion, brainstorming kind of a thing, normally happens with the vision level of mentoring. For operations level of mentoring or specific discussions on how to how to look at a marketing strategy or something, you have to clearly go with the agenda based thing as to what are the objectives, who's going to participate, who are the stakeholders, that kind of a thing. So what are the objectives of the interaction? One, of course, you need to keep the mentor updated with what's happening with your company, whom you met recently, what's been happening, what are the positive things, what are the negative things which happened, how you are feeling about all those. You need to give that over. And probably the mentor also gives you an update on whom he met and who might be useful for your venture. Once that is done, one of the major jobs of the mentor is identifying bottlenecks. Now, what happens is that in a mentoring relationship, and what I have seen, or I have mentored some startups, the most important thing is to make the entrepreneur talk. So, which means that if you are entrepreneurs, you should talk through the entire process and leave it to the mentor to identify bottlenecks. Where is it inconsistent? What is going wrong here? And challenge the assumptions that are made by the entrepreneur, and challenge the person to change the assumption and remove the bottleneck. A lot of times entrepreneurs have a lot of beliefs that something is right, but they should be open to try something different if what they are doing is not working. And of course, answering very difficult questions. It could be mostly about their own way of doing things, their own behaviors, beliefs, and the mentor will challenge those. Or it could be specific operational issues as to why not do it in a certain way. It could be difficult situations of maybe asking the entrepreneur to fire somebody in the team. If they are not productive, what is the reason for not being able to take a decision? So these questions might come up, and they need to be answered. According to me, one of the most important things to do is to meet the mentor. Yes, there are mentor networks which are helping now in terms of online mentoring. They connected. Yes, we can do with technology. Of course, it's become easier with Skype interviews and all that. But it is important to meet the mentor, have a face-to-face as at least once, and then continue the conversation as we go on. Lot of times with entrepreneurs, what happens is that they just vanish. So in the sense that they just go away and for too long. So it is important to keep in touch with the mentor, even if you are not doing anything about the activity that you have discussed. It is easier to go back to the mentor and say, I didn't do anything about this, and I'm kind of lost. So I'll get back to you, on after a while. But it is important to do that. Do not go away without closing the loop and get back in touch. See, there are several phases in life, in an entrepreneur's life, when you feel like just running away, and it happens. Yes, I understand. I went through it myself. But then when you do that, the mentor is losing confidence on you. See, the mentor is here not for the idea. The mentor is here for you, because he or she likes you and knows that you have something in you which will make you achieve something, change something in the world. So don't go away and make them lose the confidence in you. And it's okay. They know that this happens, and when you come back, normally whatever the reaction, they get back to mentoring you. So get back in touch and then learn from the analysis and act. So whenever there is a meeting with the mentor, the analysis happens. It is our responsibility to take action points and act on them, and of course update on the act. The key thing, reflect. Thinking about ourselves is what the mentor will help us do. thinking about ourselves deep and hard, and an entrepreneur's journey is about becoming a better person. Every interaction with the mentor will show that something can change in me for the better. So reflect, reflect, reflect. Lastly, yes, mentoring is an eternal relationship. It's a forever relationship. You always, if you have had an interaction with your mentor and it was good, you would not lose a chance to mention that to anybody whom you would want to mention. And to the extent that I'm sure you must have read that Mark Zuckerberg himself has mentioned that Steve Jobs was my mentor and I had so many questions for him and he guided me on how to build an awesome team. And and not just in IT, I mean in several social scenarios or industries, there are always mentors, and it would be an honor to mention that you were mentored by somebody. I myself was mentored by Sri Raghav, who was a stalwart in the fertilizer industry in the sales and marketing division. It is a forever relationship. But remember, the insight is forever. The insight that the mentor gives or which comes out of the interaction or the discussion is forever. It is inside you. It is internalized. You become that insight. And the experience is forever. It is a memorable experience. It's an awesome experience. But the mentor is not a role model. You meet the mentor. Role models are somebody who don't know you, who don't meet you. They're celebrities. Mentors are for you. They have one-on-one touch with you. Right? Now this mentoring has a timeline. So when you as an entrepreneur choose a mentor, do keep in touch with the mentor throughout life. But the mentoring which is happening right now is for a specific event in your life, event in the company's life. And that needs to come to a conclusion. And when that comes to a conclusion, you should thank and close that mentoring relationship. I'm not saying stop contacting or connecting with the mentor. That continues forever. That mentor will probably come back and mentor to you in a different stage in life. A person who has mentored you when you're beginning a company because he's a visionary will also mentor you when you're exiting from the company because he's a visionary and he'll show you what next to do. So the relationship will continue. But the mentoring relationship should have a timeline. Specifically use a mentor for the strengths that they have for a certain part of your entrepreneurial journey. And always thank the mentor and close the relationship for that project. Now, what is important here is there is always a question about whether it's a paid relationship or what is it. I would personally feel that it's not a paid position because mentors normally choose whom to mentor, and they are doing this out of their interest, their passion. So, uh, so that I feel that's an important point. So go ahead, seek mentoring, but most importantly, mentoring is for the purpose of knowing yourself better. So which means that you have to look for people who can probe into you and make you look into the mirror. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ravi, for the inspiring session. So we have a couple of questions from the attendees. So the first question is, how can we choose a right mentor?
Hmm. Okay. Like I mentioned in the presentation, see, you will not be able to judge a person as soon as you look at them. So you will have to interact with them several times and to be able to understand one in terms of the experience of that mentor, in terms of the attitude of the mentor towards the idea that you have, um, and the compassion or the understanding that he or she has shown about you and your capability. So it is important that they get to know you, and only then can you go ahead and say that this person is the right mentor for me.
Okay, the next question is,
And that's kind of the answer. Yeah.
is there any chance? Okay, this is one. When we had started, how to find a mentor for us. So this is something, like specific, vertical. They have started something in technology. How they can find a mentor for their own product.
Yeah. So the best way to do this is to be interacting with people in your city or town in any of the events where other products, other entrepreneurs are presenting their products, or some industry stalwarts of that industry are interacting. So you have to go out and meet people in those events and ask people about who have made it in this industry. Because normally people who have succeeded in doing their own ventures or even in corporates have led huge projects and made a difference to the industry. Those people are the speakers or the people who have are on the panel discussions or their connects are normally the people you would want to go to. So attending these events, talking to those people, talking about your product or service to them, and whenever there is a conversation mentioning that we are looking for mentors to guide us, that's how you should spread the word, and people will connect you to the right people. Now that's one way of doing it, physically going to networks. The other way of doing it is on LinkedIn or any other networks. Follow the blogs of people in the industry, join the groups in the industry, and write separately to some of the people that whose profile you like, and say that this is what I'm doing. Would like to have an interaction with you whenever we can, and have a call. Pick up the phone, call them, take an appointment, call them, talk to them, tell them about what you're doing, ask them about what they do. Nothing about mentoring or anything, but generally ask them about what they do. Can we work together in any way? Just wanted to inform you. That kind of a conversation. And if a relationship strikes, like I said, normally mentors are people who have achieved something in the industry, and they will come back to you and say that I like what you're doing. Can we look at something together? Can I help you doing this better?
Yeah. The next question is from how to convince a mentor to do mentoring, or a person to mentor us.
Um, you don't. See, it's mentoring is a choice that the person has to make. You cannot convince somebody to start mentoring others. Um, See, there are many kinds of people, right? In entrepreneurs, there are shy entrepreneurs. There are entrepreneurs who can go out and stretch their hand and talk to strangers on the road. All kinds of people are there. So mentors are also different types. You cannot convince anybody to mentor you. No, you cannot. You can have conversations with them. Do not give them up. If you really think that person is useful for you, um, don't convince them. Just go sit with them whenever they give you time and discuss specific points that you have issues with, you have problems in your company or some operations or thinking about a new idea. Talk to them, take their ideas. Do not make it an official mentor relationship if they are really useful to you. But officially you cannot convince anybody or force them to become a mentor. It's a choice that they have to make.
Okay, we have our next question. How is incubators different from mentorship?
So incubators yeah, I did not mention that in my presentation. That's a very good model which has come up in terms of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs come up with an idea, do their basic work on it, come up with a prototype, and start presenting it to people. Now, incubators obviously are a bunch of people who identify ideas which have potential in them, which have business potential in them, and then take it forward to grow them. they are the people who will have the entire ecosystem in place, which includes mentors. So they have their infrastructure, they have their finance being taken care of. Some of them even provide sales support and all that. And mentors are also one group which they give you access to. So that's a good way to go, according to me. If you can sign up to a incubation program and they provide you mentors, you can always go with those mentors. Normally, they have a pretty good selection process for their own mentoring panel, so you could go with that. So incubation, as such, has not just mentoring but several other things added to help entrepreneurs grow. And of course, they take a stake or something like that. So mentoring more formalized is in incubators.
Okay, we have one of the users, Deep Shikha,
Mm-hmm.
who would like to talk to you. So I'm just unmuting her.
Sure.
Uh, Deep Shikha, hello. Hello,
Hello.
Deep. Yeah, Deep Shikha, you can go ahead and talk to sir.
Yes, sir. So if suppose the person who is mentoring us, if the mentor is using our ideas, like whatever our ideas are, that idea is being used by the mentor for his or her own products. So in that case,
Mm, so I'm assuming this is out of your personal experience. See, um, um, it's unfortunate if it happened, but then are you talking about just features from your product being used, or is it directly competing with your product?
if the idea is being whatever the idea is, the person is modifying the idea, and then suppose the person is investing in that idea.
Then I guess it's not. I mean, it's not a good relationship. I mean, that person probably obviously has not reached. He doesn't understand what is mentoring, and probably that's not a good choice. I don't know the entire scenario, but I think you should stop that relationship and move on and find somebody else. Uh, but then remember that there will always be competitors.
Hmm.
So it's not that your ideas will not be used by anybody. If they get to know it, they will use it. Competition will be there. But I think you should go ahead and find a different mentor and close that relationship.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Obviously, see, mentors are somebody who has achieved something in life and in the industry. So I don't think anybody who has done that will be doing any small game in terms of small ideas which come up from budding entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
Okay, we
Thank you
have
so much.
one more user, Gopinath, who would like to talk to you, sir.
Mhm. Sure.
Gopinath, you can go ahead. Hello. Okay, I think he is not audible. We have one more user, Shiva Prasad.
Mhm.
I'll just
Mhm.
Shiv Prasad, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for this opportunity. Actually, one of the girl asked a very good question, I guess, Deepa. The thing is, when we have a mentor or someone, he will be the expert in his or her own venture, right, in our industry.
Mhm.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Uh, yeah, the thing is, when we choose an expert, as I was asking this question, so when we choose an expert, we will be choosing the expert from our own industry.
Mm.
So if we tell him the strategies or something which we are going to implement in the future in our own business,
Mm.
so as she asked the same question, he can copy us.
Mm.
So how can we secretly deliver him the message, but to, to get his
No, no,
answers
no.
out of. Hmm.
No, you
Are
cannot
you?
have
Did
a.
you get my question?
Of course, I got the question. I understand. See, you cannot have a mentor-mentee relationship in distrust. There is, without
Okay.
trust, there is no mentor-mentee relationship. You cannot
Okay.
secretly take advice on one topic and not tell him or her some other part. So that is
Okay.
not even, that's not a mentor-mentee relationship at all. So yes, you have most, I mean, it's not compulsory that you take your mentors are only in your industry, but yes, if you are taking advice on a specific industry, I understand that person needs to know. But again, the key thing here is that the mentor um is somebody who has achieved it in life. Um, I understand it's very difficult to get that sort of mentor, but um, you cannot have a relationship in distrust. But at the same time, yes, having your industry thing is important. Maybe what you could check is in terms of what is the current work of the mentor. What are they actually doing? So if, for example, your idea um, is in a certain industry, and that person is actually doing the exact same work. So if you have a mobile app being developed for a certain industry, and that person is developing mobile apps for the same industry, or is an expert in mobile app development and will churn it out. If there is no trust, there is no point in going to that person. And if see, normally I don't think any agreements and all that will also work. The mentor is somebody who identifies you with a certain potential. The person is least interested actually in the product. The person is interested in you normally. So that is a mentor. The mentor wants you to grow. Uh, Even if the product fails, he or she will ensure that you come out of that and probably start something else. So please do not take mentoring as a technical guidance or business consulting kind of assignment. It is not. Mentor is somebody, for example, the questions which mentor would ask is, okay, you went and met this person, how did the interaction go? And then you start out saying, okay, I gave him the proposal and I was explaining the proposal to him. And your mentor will probably ask you, I did not ask about the proposal. What happened there? Did that person greet you properly? It came through a reference, right? So did that person mention the reference in a very cordial way, or was he serious about it? Did it feel like a positive experience overall? So these are the questions which the mentor is asking you. Trying to find out, one, whether you did your job in the meeting, and trying to find out also whether it was an overall positive learning experience for you. It's not about the product. So I hope I'm able to convey this. Many of you, I think, are looking at mentoring as a business consulting or a technical consulting role. This person can, make it easier for me to sell the product, or make it easier for me to build the product. No, it is not that. It is about how you handle the product development, and you handle the team, and you handle the customer. The mentor's focus is you. So please look for somebody who's interested in your development.
Okay. Thank
That
you.
is, I guess, critical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. We have one more user, Miss Vandana, who would like to talk to you. She has posted her question also. To be a good mentor, what are the qualities we should have? Hello, ma'am. Can you go ahead with the question? I think that's her ma'am's question.
Mhm.
So, what are the good qualities of a mentor?
See, uh, okay, let me see. So to become a good mentor, um, see, normally you have gone through the grind as an entrepreneur, as a person. You have gone through the grind, and you have come to a certain level. level in your own struggle in life, in your building your company, your idea, or whatever you're pursuing. And after that, you have a desire in you to share that experience. You have a desire in you to help others not make the same mistakes that you made. See, these are the attitudes of a mentor. So when you are choosing a mentor also, right, it is, there is that saying which I slightly modify always and tell people where I go to set up entrepreneurship cells in colleges. Uh, whom do we call to mentor us or to guide us or to give lectures to us in how to do our ventures? I say it is good to be important. Call an important person. It is good to be important, but it is more important to be good. That person has to be a good person. I know it is very, subjective, difficult to judge that. But a person who voluntarily comes over and shows the passion of growing the entrepreneur is a mentor. So he has a desire to share the knowledge, the experiences, the failures, the successes, and the learnings from those experiences with others. In order that they save time, they get a better experience out of entrepreneurship. So that should be the guideline of an entrepreneur. They should feel like helping based on their experience. And it's not that they're interested in a relationship with you in terms of continuously guiding you. What is the next job that you have to take? Whom you should get married to, and all that. They're not interested in all that. They are interested in you as a business person, as a somebody who is creating something different in the world. So, and each mentor can be different. There could be some people who are not interested in your cafe coffee day kind of meetings. They would say, let's make it formal. Come to my office. We'll sit down and talk specific agenda. Whereas some people might want to say, okay, let's relax, chill out, let's go talk. So you will be flexible about it. But what should come out in both the interactions is that their focus is on you building the company. It's not about telling I did this or I did that. I have so many startups that I have gone through. I am a serial entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. It is important to be good. So gauge that person in that sense. They could be they could have done this one startup also and failed, but they have a lot of learning to give. Take that learning. So most important is for them wanting to share their experience and teaching that experience to others.
Well, thank you so much for the inspiring session, sir. Thank you all attendees for participating in the webinar. We are glad that the questions kept coming in, but due to lack of time, we are unable to answer them all. Please do send in your feedback, and if you have any questions, we will share Ravi sir's email ID. Sir, is that fine with you?
Yes.
Yeah. So we will share the email ID so that you can ask him questions. You can write to him directly, and the record.
And you can connect to me on LinkedIn also.
Okay.
So that will be easier to keep in touch.
Yeah. And the recorded version of the webinar will be available on YouTube tomorrow, and we request all the attendees to share the other participants who are participating in this webinar, which will help us know who all had gone through the knowledge and how did it help. So the feedback is very important. Kindly share that feedback. Thank you once again and have a nice evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.